Hello and welcome to another time-lapse video. You're about to see how I made the 15th Spacebeard postcard, and let's start with the obvious influence. It's always coming back to Bill Watterson and Calvin and Hobbes. In fact, if you look here, you're about to see the panel that I picked. I tend to start these by looking through all of his incredible work and trying to find environments that he drew, because his environments are just epic and awesome. And this one in particular grabbed me because I was trying to find something that was like a futuristic city, and I hadn't really seen him draw too many of those. It's typically out in some sort of wasteland or out in space or with dinosaurs, but I found one and I'm like, this is super cool. I'm just going to mess around with this idea. Speaking of super cool, check this out. He has a book out now that is just like completely different in style from what he is typically doing or what we know him for. So this was really cool. It's called The Mysteries. And if you didn't see his name on the cover, I don't know if you would figure out that it was him. Anyway, let's get to my attempt at this particular image. What I really like about what he does is there's a lot of interesting shapes that are not what you would think of at first for buildings. And a lot of them are spherical or kind of like weird lines, like that one in the bottom right, that building that's kind of like a S shape almost. So I just kind of kept looking at his, but then also trying to pick my own. And the difference between the two is enough, I think, to feel like it's its own thing, but is definitely heavily inspired by his composition, his choice of that Dutch angle, which is, for people who don't know, a Dutch angle is just where you tilt the camera so that it creates a certain amount of action or tension. It can be used for dramatic effect. It can be used to kind of make you feel like something's off kilter, or someone is off kilter. They used it a lot in the old Batman 1966 show, and it was very much used when a villain was involved. As to the coloring process, again, I really tried to model my coloring, at least at the start, off of Watterson's palettes, because I think they were so cool. He had a really interesting kind of off-kilter approach to some of his color choices, which was probably out of necessity because he was dealing with the limited range of color you had in a newspaper. But then, of course, I modernized it with a lot of the stuff that you can use in today's digital world. I also added a lot more shadow to mine. I was really leaning heavy on there being a light source that's a little bit more at the top right and aiming towards the bottom left. So those shadows, on the bottom left sides of things were important, and also helped to break up the look of these buildings. Break up the ability to distinguish between the one building and another. And then it's just fun adding details. I probably could have done even more, but I, have to let go of it at some point. The last step is the weirdest one, where I decided to make a little bit of a blur effect based on the perspective of the panel. So there's a blur that happens right at the end, as well as this nice little glow at the bottom that I just put a layer in there to kind of create a sense of like there being a city below that was kind of teeming with light. And that's basically it. I'm going to do the back postcard image as well as a time-lapse, because that one was a lot more freeform and didn't have any real particular image that it was referencing. It was just sort of building off of this one. But for now, I hope you enjoy, and enjoy your day.